Other oil-producing countries, and a massive loss for the United States and our great citizens. Joe Biden and the Democrats are even pushing policies that would destroy women's sport.
Keep yapping.
A lot of new records are being broken in women's sports. Hate to say that, ladies, but got a lot of new records. They're being shattered. You know, for years, the weightlifting, every ounce is like a big deal for many years. All of a sudden, somebody comes along and beats it by 100 pounds. Boom, boom. Now, young girls and women are incensed that they are now being forced to compete against those who are biological males. It's not good for women. It's not good for women's sports, which worked so long and so hard to get to where they are. The records that stood for years, even decades, are now being smashed with ease. Smashed. If this is not changed, women's sports, as we know it, will die. They'll end. It'll end. What coach, if I'm a coach, you know, I want to be a great coach. What coach, as an example, wants to recruit a young woman to compete if her record can easily be broken by somebody who was born a man? Not too many of those coaches around, right? They are around. They won't be around long because they're going to have a big problem when their record is, we're 0-16, but we're getting better. No, I think it's crazy. I think it's just crazy what's happening. We must protect the integrity of women's sports. So important.
Question,
left.
will you shut up, man?
Listen,
Candace Owens is the worst. Here's why.
And I'm actually like staunchly conservative when it comes to the trans debate. And people say, oh, well, even if a person is trans, you should have the decency and the respect to call them by their preferred pronoun. I don't play that game. And what I always say to people is, if you have a mental disorder, that's fine. You know, I don't need to come up to you and tell you that I think you have a mental disorder. That would be rude.
Right.
But when you have a mental disorder and you're now requiring that I have a mental disorder, right, to meet your mental disorder, that doesn't work for me. Which is to say that if somebody was walking around as a schizophrenic and saying that they were Superman, and then telling me that I was required to treat them like Superman, I wouldn't play the game. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about trans. I think the slope is so slippery, and they find that to be bigotry. No, I'm not going to call you she. I'm not going to call you her just because you're a grown man and you're wearing a wig and a dress. That's literally telling me that I am now required to have a mental disorder because you have one.
Obviously, it's a psychological condition, but what the left wants is to have their cake and eat it too. They want to say, this is a very serious psychological condition and you have to indulge it. Also, you have to treat it as though it's objectively true.
Right.
That's where
change the bathroom signs now, right?
Change
because this person now needs to feel like there's a place for them to go that's safe.
Yeah, I remember when prior to the civil rights movement, certain people weren't allowed to use bathrooms that white people were using. By the way, I just want to note a few things. I don't understand why the right wing is so obsessed with this issue. Trans people are being murdered right now. They're dying as a result of anti-trans hatred. And they've decided, no, you know what? This is the issue that we're gonna latch onto because I'm a staunch conservative. And she puts herself in this position of being a hero because she's decided that she wants to disrespect the identity of individuals she disagrees with. And one other thing, that's Dave Rubin's friend. And she is making the exact same argument that the right wing made prior to the legalization of gay marriage. The argument that the right wing, the conservatives in America would make over and over again is they have mental conditions, right? They're psychologically damaged. They would compare them to, people who want to have sex with animals, literally, right? That's what Candace Owens is doing right now in response to the trans community. And that's Dave Rubin's friend right there.